Okay, it's Monday morning, still Memorial Holiday, but I thought, hey, if anybody was out there, they would have been out there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they'd probably be home now, resting and taking it easy, get ready to work tomorrow. Well, that's what I get for guessing, I guess, because there was a lot of boaters still out there. You can see right there off the beach, there's tons of boaters that are just kicking back and relaxing on the beach. Um, it 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 wasn't too bad. It was okay, uh, but maybe I could have stayed one more day. But no need. It was still, the day was good. The weather was good. I had checked the weather just before I left, and it was good weather. So I figured, why not? Let's go ahead and take off. So I took off, and we're heading to Moorhead City now. Uh, that is about probably about four hours away, depending on how fast I'm going. Depending on currents, winds, and a lot, it could be 35 miles, it could be 40 miles that I'm going to cover today. I'm only doing, let's say, 40, about 40 miles, averaging 35 miles a day, mainly because I'm only traveling uh, at about 10 to 12 miles per hour, and that'll give me about 4 hours of running time. And that way it gives me plenty of time to kick back, find some place to tie up, or where to stay, or maybe even grab lunch, or if not, have lunch on board the boat, and I'll grab dinner somewhere to, you know, grab something to eat. Then I normally have one meal off the boat. Uh, Breakfast I pretty much have on board the boat all the time, mainly because I can just get up and don't have to, wash up or anything, and go to go grab something to eat. I can always do it, once I'm done eating and something. And here we are traveling, at average speed, right at about 10 miles an hour, a little bit over 10 miles an hour. If you see all these houses along the beach, right on the other side of that houses there is the Atlantic Ocean. Uh, if you look also as you're going down, all these houses are up on stilts. Well, they must have, you know, uh, pretty much a lot of floods going on around here. As you can see, there's only one or two houses that I saw that were not up on a stilt. All the rest of them were. If they were built brand new, they have to be up on stilts according to code. Um, but most of the time, I guess they're prone to flooding. I went ahead and made it to Moorhead City, and this is Moorhead right here. Not a bad little town, like all the other little towns on the intercoastal. Uh, they did have some free docks where you could tie up for 4 hours if you want to get off and grab something to eat, or you wanted to walk around, or something like that. They let you tie up for 4 hours. I tied up on this dock right here, mainly because it was it's at a state park, and it didn't say I couldn't tie up, so I went ahead and tied up there. I didn't stay there overnight. What I did is I anchored off right where all these other sailboats were. I figured, I'll stay close to the sailboats, and that way I'd have a less chance of somebody not being able to see me. I did walk off the dock here, and decided to walk around the island and see what was here. Pretty much a bunch of trails and everything, and nothing else. There was a couple birds, wildlife. Uh, wasn't sure if it was a raccoon or something, but there was something running through the woods making all kinds of noise. So I kind of figured probably a raccoon or something. Uh, we're still in salt water, so I didn't imagine running into an alligator or anything like that. Uh, but again, it's just uh, sugar. I think the name of this island they call it Sugar Loaf Island or something like that. Uh, don't know where that name came from, but just decided, well, let's walk around, see what's in here. The more I kept going further in, the more bugs started to show up, and I got to the point where I was going to turn around and head back out, but then I could hear water somewhere splashing along the beach. So I wanted to find out, where's that beach or whatever, or is there a beach somewhere close by? So I just kept walking, kept going, trying to see, well, maybe I'll get to the other end of the island and I'll see where the beach is or what the beach is like over there. But the bugs and mainly it wasn't that many of the mosquitoes, but it was these little flies that bite you, and boy, does that hurt. There was a lot of areas along the trails here that would open up, and you can see that the island itself is made up of sand, and that's the majority of the islands. Some of these islands were created when they were digging the ditch, when they were dredging the canals, or when they dredge the channels or something. What they do is they pick up a lot of the sand and stuff from the canals or from the channels, and they have to get rid of it somewhere. So what they do is they just get off the channel path somewhere, and then they dump all the sand in that area, and eventually it creates an island like this. So a lot of these islands are called spoil islands, and that's the leftovers that they pick up when they're dredging canals and they're dredging the intercoastal, for example, or when they're dredging a channel. To dredge a channel, it takes a lot of sand they got to take out of there, because they got boats that draft an easy 20 feet, and these big barges coming in and out of the channels there. So the channel has to be pretty deep, and in some areas that channel goes down to 30-40 feet in depth. So that's a lot of dredging that they have to keep up with, and as a result, this is where these islands come from, and that's why they call them spoil islands. It's the aftermath of some of the dredging that they had done, in this case the intercoastal. But I kept going, and I kept hearing the sound of water, and I kept thinking, there's got to be an end to this somewhere. And all of a sudden, as I was turning the corner here, I realized, oh, there it is. There was a big open space, and I could actually see water now. And I thought, okay, well, I guess this is the back side of the island, or the front side. I don't know. Maybe I was on the back. Either way, I walked up to the shoreline. Really nothing spectacular there, except, just beautiful water. There's some cactus growing. I guess they grow freely here on the island, or in this area. A lot of people will take these cactuses and take all the spines, cut all the spines off of them, and then cut them into little pieces, and they'll fry them and make mix eggs or something with them in the morning, and make tacos with eggs and the cactus here. I've never tried it before, but I've heard they're pretty good. And they, like I said, in a lot of places they grow wild all over the place. So they're very popular. I know Texas has a lot of cactus growing all over the place. Mexico does too. Mexico has tons of it. Matter of fact, Mexico uses some of these type, not this particular cactus, but there's another type of cactus that they use to make their tequila. Well, I went ahead and left Moorhead City. Didn't stay a couple days. I just went ahead and took off. But on my way to Belhaven, I ran into this little spot right here and decided, oh, this looks nice. And it was advertising real cheap gas. Well, again, inexpensive gas. And it was at $5.29 when I got it, which is the cheapest I have gotten since I've been on the loop. So I decided to fill up both gas tanks and a spare tank that I was carrying with me. The nice thing about this what I found out about this marina is that it's a community-owned marina. It's called Seagate Community, and it's owned by the association, and I guess it's an extra way of them getting revenue for the association to pay for all your expenses and everything. But the fuel was not bad. Like I said, it was the cheapest that I have gotten fuel in the whole time that I've been on the Great Loop now. And it's a beautiful community. It also everything was pretty cheap. Even when you bought something at the convenience store, it was not that high prices that you normally see in a convenience store. It also had a nice little lounge area where it was nice and air conditioned. And here's where I kind of spent most of my day, sitting around here. I actually took 2 days and sat here for a couple of days. And it's nice because it's air conditioned. Plus, I get to work on my tablet and work on my videos and stuff like that while I'm sitting. Anytime I can get off the boat, since I'm constantly every day on the boat. When you get an opportunity to get off the boat, I take it just to get away from it all. They also had I noticed off the side of the building, they had a memorial set up here. The flag was at half staff, and that was for half staff were honoring the kids that were killed in Uvalde, Texas. Apparently, it was mass shooting again over there. Well, not over there again, but in Uvalde. This is a memorial from 9/11. They actually had a piece of steel that came from one of the buildings. Not sure, which building. They didn't say, and of course, it's probably hard to tell what building it was. Whether it was one of the twin. It was one of the twin towers, and you can see it's bent pretty good. They said because it got so hot that it bent the steel, and that's what caused it to collapse. Whether that's what happened or not, I don't know. But anyway, it's a nice little tribute that they did themselves. They had a lot of firemen retired in that area for some reason, and that's where they did that for the firemen. And they brought that piece of steel in for them and did a memorial basically for the retired firemen that lived there in the community. Here we are going down. I went ahead and left Seagate, and started heading toward Belhaven, and figured, well, I'll go ahead and drop anchor or something when I get there if I don't find a marina or somewhere to tie up at. I don't film much of the water part now anymore because it's basically the same thing over and over, but it's beautiful. Just cruising down, beautiful on both sides of the water. Here I started crossing a large body of water, and the winds started picking up. And as you can see, when you get strong winds in a large body of water, it starts to create some pretty good wakes, and the wakes are pounding. Now, the pounding is not bad at all. It's kind of tedious that that's all you see is pounding, and pounding. But after a while, you kind of get used to it. But I was trying to hurry up and get to the other end of this large body of water, which there was a little marina there that I saw on the map, and I figured, okay, that'll be a nice little place to stay. I didn't want to keep traveling because the winds were pretty strong, and I heard there was a storm coming, and as you can see, that storm started heading toward us. Here's that little marina I was talking about, and when I got here, I realized it's a marina, but it's actually a marina at a gas station. I thought, well, wow, I never thought I'd ever stop at a gas station on my boat, to stay overnight. And I'm still here, as a matter of fact, right now. It's been a nice little marina. I asked him, I said, well, what about fuel? Do you carry fuel? And he says, yeah, we sure do. And I said, what's your gas price? And he told me it was $4.78, I think, or something like that. So that's the cheapest I had seen it anywhere. in my whole trip. They even beat that Seagate community. The problem was when I asked him, I said, okay, let's fuel up. He says, well, my pump's not working. So I guess it doesn't matter what price you put it at. If you can't pump gas, then obviously they could say it was $2. It wouldn't make a difference. But anyway, it was still a nice little convenience store to stop. They had a little, they have a cook that cooks in there and has a nice menu, kind of fast food place, chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs, uh, fish sandwiches and stuff like that. So I had breakfast this morning there, and I also had lunch not too long ago, and it's turned out to be actually a pretty nice place. I'll be taking off tomorrow morning, which is Sunday, and gonna see if I can at least get across this large body of water without too much interference. Once I get pass through there, I'll be going through a place called the Dismal Swamp, which is just a canal somewhere. So that's not going to be bad once I'm in there. This is some crab traps I saw. A lot of times when you're underwater, you see these little buoys sticking out of the water all over the place. Well, what it is they're crab traps. And what they do is they put some kind of bait inside them, and they tie down the bait so that the crabs can't grab it and take off with it. So they tie it down, and as the crabs get in there and they start eating and everything, well, they have a tendency to get in, but they can't get out. How they can do that, I don't know, but it happens. That makes them very hard for them to get out. And fishermen use the same traps basically everywhere, because they all look the same. And here's that large body of water that I had come across, and it was getting pretty choppy. Down along the side here, you could see there were all these are the boats that they load all them crab traps with. They load them on these boats here, and then while they're going out, they start baiting them, and they get ready to drop them. Now all these buoys are marked. They have a number, and they're also color coded, and they are only allowed that identify whose crab traps those belong to. You're not allowed to pick these things up. You can get a pretty hefty fine for picking up one of these crab traps. Only the people that own them are allowed to carry them, to pick them up and empty them out and put new bait on there. But pretty interesting little boats that they have on. You can see these large back cages they have in the back. That's where they stack up all the crab traps while they're taking them out or bringing them back in. All in all, this is a pretty little interesting place. And like I said, it kind of surprised me that it was a gas station, but I guess because they're underwater, they were able to add on docks, and they do carry diesel fuel and gas fuel, except the gas pump is not working right now for the gas, but the diesel fuel is working. You get a lot of boaters that came in last night trying to get out of the storm. There was actually a storm with tornado warnings and everything out there. So good thing that I had just passed all of that bad weather, so we only got just a little bit of the weather there. But this is actually from the front of it. Well, that should do it for today. I will be leaving tomorrow, and I'll be posting again some more. Thank you.